For those of you guys that play fantasy football and you're considering drafting Anthony Richardson high to be your QB1 this year, you're making a huge mistake. I had a homeboy in this fantasy league that I'm in with all my high school friends that drafted Anthony Richardson with his third round pick, which was absolutely insane because he could have had CJ Stroud, Joe Burrow. And I asked him, why did you draft Anthony Richardson that high? He told me that Anthony Richardson is going to have a year this year that's similar to Cam Newton's 2015 MVP season, and I thought he was absolutely out of his damn mind. I love Anthony Richardson, and I went to war a few months ago defending him, saying that he was being severely underrated. But somehow, from the time that I made that take to now, he now has went from being underrated to being heavily overrated and overvalued. This is a quarterback that has never played a full season of football. College, he didn't play a full season at Florida, and he didn't play all of his rookie season. He only played a handful of games due to that shoulder injury that he sustained early on during the season. And what Anthony Richardson needs, he didn't receive during his rookie season, which was meaningful reps throughout the regular season. With how raw he is as a quarterback, he's only going to get better with more games that he plays. And technically, his second year this year is pretty much the equivalent to his rookie season, because when you only play 4 or 5 games your first year, you're still raw. You still are new to the NFL game. And you still are going to have a lot of ups and downs that comes with Anthony Richardson being the starting quarterback for Indianapolis this year. And the reason why Anthony Richardson is such a risky pick from a fantasy football standpoint is that he's one of those quarterbacks that's going to be heavily volatile. He's going to have games when he goes off and gives you 30, 25 points, wins you that week. And then he's going to have some games where he may only put up 6, maybe less than 10 points in certain games due to his inconsistency and his volatility as a passer. Prime example, look at his final preseason showing against the Cincinnati Bengals. He went 7-8 for his first couple of possessions. And then right after that, he went 1 of 7 and threw a pick 6 to Jordan Battle. That's the Anthony Richardson experience that you're going to see if you draft him in your fantasy football leagues, which is why drafting Anthony Richardson in fantasy football this year could cost you your fantasy league, because he's not going to give you consistent quarterback play on a week-to-week basis to make him a valuable starter for you. He's going to be heavily volatile. He's going to have some good games when he goes off for 4 touchdowns, and he's going to have some games where he may only score 2 touchdowns and have 4 turnovers in the process. And that's why I strongly advise against drafting Anthony Richardson if you have him being your quarterback run. He could be a good backup option, and if he shows that he can be consistent this year, then he's a really good option as far as QB1s in fantasy football. But I've seen this story way too many times with these really hyper-athletic quarterbacks like Justin Fields. I've had him a couple of years in fantasy football, and he cost me last year because he was inconsistent. He had games when he would score 30 points, and he had games when he didn't even get the 10 points. And when you're trying to win a fantasy football league, you need more consistent quarterback play than just a couple of 25, 30-point outings 4 or 5 weeks throughout the season. And then the most that you're getting out of them is like 10-point performances because the passing is just so inconsistent. And I'm not an Anthony Richardson hater, but I am somebody that is realistic about how good he's going to be this year due to how he got set back his rookie season and his development because of his injuries. So if you're playing fantasy football this year, please do yourself a favor and stay away from Anthony Richardson. He's too volatile to trust as your QB1 this year.